And this little fountain that's right in front of us is one of the first memories that I had as a very young child, because that building in the background, which is now a church, used to be the hospital. And that was the place where my father was ill for a period of time and finally died. And when my mother and others would be visiting with them inside, I spent quite a lot of time out in this little park where this fountain is. So I remember it quite well, and I think it really is one of the very first memories that I have. Rather a pretty little fountain, as you can see, and it exists today in exactly the same form as it did about 50 years ago. That back there, which is now a church, was the hospital. And right up this street, right there, just about 2 blocks, was my grandfather and grandmother's house and the house where I was born. We'll go up there in a minute. It no longer exists. And this street right here used to be one of the better streets in Bethany, and the traffic and life in general has bypassed it, and it is now in a state of general decay. Look at that now is the lot, or what's left of it, where my grandfather and grandmother Sutton's house used to be, and that was the house where I was born, in Bethany, Missouri. I don't know what this building right here is at the moment, but the lot has been sliced essentially in two by that highway that you can see in action right over there, which is US Highway 69 going north to Des Moines. And anyway, the house, I guess, would have sat just about right there, and was at least 2-story and possibly a 3-story house with a frame house with a porch that ran around 2 sides and a screened-in porch on the back. I remember quite well it had a very nice curving staircase with a banister that I used to slide down as a kid. I have told the story several times about the time when my Uncle Bob Stockwell and my Uncle Tad Sutton slipped away from a Sunday dinner to go across the street to have a little nip out of Uncle Tad's bottle, and became involved in an argument over there, and result of which they brought Uncle Bob back across the street with the scalp bleeding because he'd been hit over the head with a tire iron. Right over there where on the other side of that truck that went by is where that filling station was. It was a Sinclair station at that time, and it is just about where that Texaco station is. I'll walk right over here and take a picture of the Texaco station. Across the side street from where I was born is now what looks like a kind of a junkyard or a farm implement graveyard. That, of course, was not there. It was residences along that street. Looking right straight ahead down this street, that's the way to Memorial Park, which is a very nice little park and was a very nice residential street. Here's the service station, at least the corner that has been a service station, I suppose, for an awful long time. That is not the building that was there when it was a Sinclair station and when my uncle operated it. But anyway, somewhere in that vicinity is the place where my Uncle Bob Stockwell slowly pulled the knife to cut himself a chew of tobacco, and that's the last thing he remembered for a while. Across the street from the lot where I was born, used to be a very nice house and belonged to a family called Place, P-L-A-C-E, that ran the five and dime store in this town. And they had two sons, one of which was called Kenneth Place, and he was my age. And I bought my first bicycle from him. It cost me $10, five of which I had won by playing a game called Sprino in a movie house here in Bethany during the Depression. Anyway, that's the Place house, which was really a very nice place when I was in this town. You can see our car sitting down there. That would have been sitting about where there was a single car garage. And my grandparents' house was there. On the other side of the car is a place that didn't even exist the last time I was in Bethany, which is, of course, a very long time ago. This street, incidentally, should you ever want to find this corner, is called Oakland Street. I don't remember it being called Oakland Street when I was here. It is called Oakland Street, and that intersection right there is where Oakland Street meets U.S. Highway 69 going north to Des Moines. Well, as you can see, this is the family burial plot in the cemetery at Bethany, Missouri. And they're all here. I will go around and photograph a little bit of some of these headstones so anybody can tell who all is here. This is Uncle Bob Stockwell, who was Aunt Sade's husband, buried next to Aunt Sade, right there. And right next to her was my Uncle Leonard, who, I don't know if you can see it or not, but he died in 1920, was my father's brother, and died the year before I was born, so I never got to know him. And then right over here is my cousin Bobby Sutton's tombstone. I don't quite know why, but he is outside the family plot. He has two stones. This one that was apparently put up by the Masons, and then right down there is another stone that was put up for Bobby. It was undoubtedly put up by the American Legion or some military group, because it talks about his service in the Air Forces during World War II. This is Aunt Nell's headstone. I don't believe I knew until I came out here today that her middle name was Knowles, K-N-O-W-L-E-S. My grandmother Sutton's headstone, her name was Hubbard before she was married, and I think, as you can see there, she was born in 1849. And next to her is my grandfather Sutton. His name was John Harvey, John H. Sutton. And apparently was 3 years older than my grandmother. As you can see, he died in 1920, which was a year before I was born, so I just missed knowing him. Father's headstone. He had no middle name, just the middle initial, Herbert D. Sutton. And as you can see, he died in 1923 when I was 2 years old. the other side of the main marker now. And this is a cousin of mine, John Sutton. He would have been my oldest cousin. And I didn't even know he was dead until I came out here today, but he apparently was buried in 1982, 1983. He drank a little bit more than was good for him and was a building contractor for most of his life. And this is his father, my uncle. They called this man Uncle Harv, and he died in 1947. He was the father of both John and Bobby Sutton, whose markers you've seen. And this is his wife, that is Uncle Harv's wife. We called her Aunt Frank. Her name is Frances. And she apparently died in 1980. Her last name was Philibom, and I used to go with Bobby to when he visited with his grandma Philibom, who also lived here in Bethany. Family plot has corner markers, and as you can see, there's at least one hole empty on the other side of that plant right there. I don't know if it's bespoke or not, but there may be another one right down here that's empty too. Yeah, I think maybe this place right here is empty too, so maybe that wouldn't be a bad place to lie with the rest of the Suttons.
Down by Aunt Say there's a spot.
So maybe I will have to look into the possibility of reserving myself a place here in the Sutton plot. Kind of pretty out here. Pretty country graveyard. I walked around quite a lot and drove around quite a lot today trying to locate this family plot, and became aware that a lot of people I know are here. We're at Kingsville, Missouri, and we're looking out over the general area where my great-grandfather Joseph H. Burroughs had his home. Also his son, we used to call him Uncle Billy. He was my grandmother Odin's brother. He used to have a house just about where I'm pointing now. This whole farm was a rather important place at the time of my great-grandfather. He named it Oak Lawn Farms. And as you can see, there's lots of pastures and lots of wooded areas on the farm. And this is the Oak Lawn Cemetery. It's a little bit more, perhaps, spending this time in the cemetery, but the fact of the matter is, I seem to find many more of my acquaintances and friends in this part of the country in places like this than I do alive and well. It's also interesting that Nancy and I have just counted, including myself, 5 generations of my family here. If you count me, I'm not planted yet, but I am here. And so I will go down here and film headstones of those 5 generations. This is the headstone of Lorenzo and Cornelia Shaw. And I'll zero in if I can on the dates. As you can see, Lorenzo was born in 1818, and Cornelia was born in, that's 1821. Now I believe these were the mother and father of my great-grandmother, whose name was Mary, and married Joseph H. Burroughs, my great-grandfather. who is also buried here. So this would be, I believe, 5 generations back from me through that line of my great-grandmother here to the Burroughs family area. And on the other side of this stone, there's a headstone for my great-grandmother. This is the headstone of my great-grandmother. As you can see, she was born in 1844, and her father, Lorenzo, would have been about 20 years old at that time. So she would be the 4th generation. This is a headstone for my grandfather and grandmother Odin. She would be the daughter of Mary A. Burroughs, whose headstone we just filmed. So this is my grandmother and grandfather buried right here. Mother, who would be the next generation, is buried in Tulsa, so she's not here. And of course I'm not quite planted yet, but if you add it all together, we have seen 5 generations represented in this one place. We're back over to the Burroughs area, and this is a headstone of my great-grandfather Joseph H. Burroughs, who was the U.S. Congressman. This is a headstone of John D. Odin, who would have been my grandfather Odin's father, or my great-grandfather. I'll zero in on the statistics. He was born in 1838, which is pretty early. So you see on the Odin side, including myself, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 generations, counting myself, at this place. This is the ceremonial rigging of the crawdad seine. These gentlemen are getting ready to go down and get some fish bait prior to trying the bass out, or at least drawing some crawdads. I expect there's a lot of people who live their whole life and never saw a crawdad seine. We're at the Bunker Hill place in southern Missouri. Here about 2 or 3 days now. Had a fine time. Beautiful spot. Jack's Fork of the current river that we see running down there. I'll walk over here so I get a little better view of the river.
You're awfully good at commentary. You can just run it on my tape too. I like that. Are you doing it?
Jim's asking for commentary right here, standing in my right elbow.
I'm copying your commentary.
He's copying commentary as well as the scene. And this is the Jack's Fork of the current river. We've got a very pretty bluff over there that doesn't show up too much, but it's all limestone country down here and hardwood trees. And really a type of beautiful country that you don't find very many places in the United States. I'll just pan downstream here. Been a lot of fishing the fellows have been doing in this stream. Some very fishy looking water right there. If it was in the mountains, you'd swear there were trout there. But they catch mostly smallmouth bass and something they call bug eyes or something like this. I think it's a type of perch. And here we have people on their way to do a little swimming. The water is surprisingly warm.
Say, I've got something. Is Christine going with you?
No.
It's just the 2 of you? Okay. I was going to give you a pillow for her to sit on. Yeah, that's the thing.
It looks like this crawdad seine is just about rigged. So they'll be going down and catching some more crawdads to drown on the end of hooks.
Really?
I never seen anything like
Oh,
it.
this is.
That white-haired gentleman down there is the fisherman of the whole group. He's been doing it for, I guess, about 300 years. And he really knows what he's about.
I've never seen anyone that just tries to just do everything. She gets in
And
the
here he's getting a lot of instructions on and directions on what to do here. And Jim is broken out his machine and has been recording every action practically since we've been here. It's a pretty place. All these places have been built by contributions from the Missouri Teachers Association. That's the office building right over there, and on up the street beyond that is the mess hall, or the dining room, where we all take meals together. The cabins are really very, very comfortable, and are arranged to accommodate surprising numbers of people each. They have showers, and all the bedrooms have rotating ceiling fans, and on the whole, the place has really been done right and is being maintained right. The little girl right down there, the littlest one, is about a year younger than Laney, and reminds us a whole lot of Laney. Not only her general appearance, but her mannerisms are almost exactly like Laney's. Every time I look around and see her doing something, the impression I receive is there's Laney. I guess we're going to get ready to do a little canoe expedition now. It looks to me like it'd be just great going downstream, but I think we have to put out a little level of effort to come back up to that. That's the launching.
Do you have a fader on your machine?
Fader, what does the fader do? Both the sound and the picture?
No, it just kind of, darkens down real slow and then brightens up.
No, I
it's
guess
a way to open a scene,
I think that might be a feature that has been added since I bought mine.
You have self-timer and time-lapse.
Self-timer and time-lapse.
I can
Guess
take
I don't-
time-lapse shots.
Oh, is that right? No, I think those things have all been added.
Not that I'll ever do it. There they go.
And there they go. That looked
They act
great.
like they know what they're doing, too.
I think they've done it before.
I'd be afraid for you and I to get one of those.
Oh, we'd be fine downstream.
Oh, that's a pretty scene, just like that.
Isn't that great?
Now, to close the scene,
You just fade it
hit
up.
the fader.
There goes the girls on an expedition to the lookout point, walking briskly. This is the first day of sunshine we've had since we've been here, so everybody's feeling motivated by the sunshine, I'm sure. There they go, up the hill.
Besides, why are there things, huh?
Goodbye, girls. No wave.
Bye, girls! There's a wave.
And
They're not one of ours. Every time you look around, you got to realize you're on campus. He's doing it again to us. You're probably the world's most photographed lady.
it's true.
You and the Queen Mother. Queen Mother.
That's true. I'm sure if we could get some of this footage to the right people, she'd be rich and famous.
That's right.
Well,
right.
I thought if you hadn't torn up that film, you know.
Where's the
Oh
beef?
yeah, that was
We had it made.
we really did. I would have been your agent.
Yeah, I know you.
Say, where's the beef just once for us?
Oh, I'm not going to do it.
Now here we are at Big Springs, Missouri. All of that water that you're seeing out there is coming from a single large spring. And is actually the source, or one of the sources of the Front River, which is a pretty good sized stream. The water's beautiful, as you can see. Over there. They put a lot of limestone in it, and water shows that lime formation. And there's the Kennedy right up out of the side of that mountain. Beautiful stream. Now, if the two of you would slowly turn around.
Slowly.
That's right. Very nice.
Panning around.
Lovely.
Photographed from every conceivable angle.
Yeah, it's really pretty. It's not an necklace. It is a necklace. Yeah, it is a necklace.
The whole river is coming right up outside the mountain. I think they have bigger ones than this. Those small ones going out toward the north. That's about the size of Rick Springs. Is on the way up Logan Canyon.
Where do we have that picnic? Is that up? No, that's what Logan Canyon. We went up someplace up the canyon.
I think that's probably at Creek End. And there's a pretty good size. We got lots of them. Don't quite shine in this one.
No, these are right there. But all right, on the alley.
On to Alley Springs?
Next spring.
Next spring?
Here we go. I'll give you a gourd dipper. I'd like to have it. First, that just makes me all the worse. They don't have any concession place here.
I think that's watercress growing in there. Is it?
I love
Yeah, it is.
watercress. I love watercress and cream cheese sandwich.
Yeah.
What's it still like? Get that down.
We used to find
You don't
watercress
like
up
your
there
vegetables
fishing and
partially cooked.
Those green beans today.
Oh, okay.
Yes, put a little bacon seasoning in there. Those were good now, didn't you think? Okay.
It tasted just like my mom's used
Well,
to.
that's why they taste like my mom. That's what I love. What's the matter with liking something that your mother cooked?
Nothing. I didn't say there was.
He knows to keep himself cleaner than I do. I know when I'm just up there. Go on.
Drive this work.
It's practice. Claudia says we can go join these people for lunch. They wouldn't miss it if we had some of it.
Now wait a minute, that has to do with the battery. Look through that.
Well, that's your battery, yeah.
All right, now somewhere, let me push.
7.3.88, you've got that in there.
Let's.
No, you got 834 feet.
Yeah. Was that on there?
Yeah. That's about half a roll.
Yeah. Is that what that is? Here's the Alley Springs mill. I guess it's a reconstruction. An old fire mill that was powered by water power and the water from Alley Springs. There we have a tourist filming that. Alley Springs mill. That would be the middle race of the Alley Springs mill. This is a very good sunset. Water rolling down over the spring. So the Alley Spring itself, quite a big pond of water.
had the old red flour mill like this.
Oh, is that right?
Should I?
What we're watching is a world famous Bigfoot actor. Here he comes, and there he goes. Right there. Great.
Don't run into Unlock.
It also reverses, as you can clearly see. And once again, forward. Very good. Whoa. All right.
Tina, now don't run into anyone.
All right. Very good.
Very soft for underneath the surface coat. And along about 1832 or 33, John Jacob Astor noted back east and also in England that silk trapped out. Every stream, every river was being trapped for beaver. So the Bents decided to concentrate on buffalo robes.
Underneath there, that would have been the grease bucket for lubricating the hubs and wheels. But this is there, you can see how high those things were. Those were big wagons.